So, anti-racists like Ibram Kendi and Robin DiAngelo have made white supremacy and the concept of whiteness abstractified so that it is a social or cultural thing that really spans everything. Like, there's no part of our society that is not impacted by you being white or by me being white and our place, our role in society. And doing so makes white different. It changes the meaning of what it means to be white into something much more ghostly and unidentifiable. I don't mean to say this in a I guess what I'm wondering is, what do you want to do with white? What is the purpose of defining white people in a specific way? Kendi had a definition for black people as the underdog in his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. It's just one part of the book, and I'm sure that he uses black to mean multiple other things too in other places. But by that definition, I want to be black. I want to be for the underdog. I want to be the tattooed guy in a tattoo-phobic world. I'd rather be gay in a straight world than on the side of homophobes. And that setup is so appealing to our mind, because then there's this fight between good and evil, and good is at the moment out of power, but someday rises to glory and brings justice and peace and truth. That setup is big in our culture, and it's big for me too. Like, sometimes I think that I'm heroic and that my side is destined to take over, but I don't see any evidence of that. But so what do you want to do with white and black? I guess what I'm saying is everybody agrees it's socially constructed, but nobody socially constructs it. They all say it is socially constructed, here's how it works, and here's how it's unfair. And then they don't say, as a white person, I want white to mean effective or creative or multifaceted. And if you go by science and you look at what it means to be white or black, you can judge by like surface level characteristics. You can analyze people's behaviors, and you can find racial behaviors that are robust, and they come at a very early age. Like, you get, God, it just, when you're talking about white supremacy, the way they talk about it, there's nowhere to run to where you get respite as a white person from being a bad guy, because you can't avail yourself of as white being a good thing, because to do so is to make black a bad thing. And sometimes they say that in so many words, that there is no white without black, that the definitions are intertangled and you cannot escape that. And also, like, liberals also don't let me say I'm a person of color, and yet obviously I am. I think facially tattooed people are people of color, especially if those tattoos are colorful. Just literally. But also, we aren't allowed in the military. We aren't employable by a lot of standards. And so how are we not people of color? Well, because you're not black, you don't know what it's really like. we can imagine. So again, I don't know what to do with these terms. Because I don't know what's effective. And I don't have goals for color or racial terms. But that's what she says, white fragility, part of this thing called white is the ability to claim to be objective and non-racial. And yet that's an impossibility, she says, that you can't be non-racial, but white supremacy requires that you pretend that you are non-racial in order to cement your advantages. She doesn't say exactly that, but it's arbitrary. It's socially constructed. So we get to decide what to do with it. So why can't we make something good out of it? And that becomes obvious with the N-word, because every word is defined in a social way. Because dictionaries are written descriptively, not proscriptively. A dictionary isn't handed down from God as an assignment for how to use words. People treat it as such, but they're wrong to do so. It is socially constructed. So I get that, and for me, the N-word means human, because human rights, egalitarianism is advocacy. It just fits really well. But when it comes to terms like white and black, it looks like they exist to separate people and to weaken them and to make everyone butthurt. And I don't know what I want to do with that, I guess, is what I'm saying. If I had a goal for these groups and some use for whiteness and blackness, then I would know what to do with it. Much like with the N-word, nigger rights. I know what I want to do. I want to legalize cocaine and sex work and organ sales. I want to make a future where nobody's in prison for dealing or using drugs if they've done no damage to anyone, where we regulate drugs instead of imprison people for it. But that's a pipe dream. Like, I can't do it. I guess what I'm saying is that this book has triggered my white fragility, and I don't know how to find peace with being a white person when I know that it's socially constructed and historically has been used to oppress people. And by historically, I mean to the present day. Given that white has dominated and demolished black, why would you want to be white? And yet, I'm not with the punks that are like, don't call me white, don't call me white. Like, that song does not appeal to me. I don't have a problem being white, except in the way it was used by other people, I want to say. But that's the other thing, is she's like, sit with it. It's not other people, it's you. And so I don't know. I am fragile with my whiteness. I am ready for a new definition and a new purpose and a new direction, because I don't see how to be proud of my whiteness. And this book does not show you the way to do that. And none of these books do. The anti-racist narrative doesn't give you the option of feeling good about this part of yourself that you cannot control. I don't know. That's 10 minutes of our lives wasted. But we're trying.